मैं इदारे से जुड़ा हूँ। हमारे पहले से फाउंडर मेंबर्स कलीम भाई हो, और मैं सुल्तान भाई, सब लोग, मैं वो लोगों का शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि हमें अपॉर्चुनिटी दिए हैं कुछ ना कुछ दे करने के लिए, टू बी पार्ट ऑफ दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। आई विल नॉट से दैट वी हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड, हमारा कंट्रीब्यूशन कुछ नहीं है, अल्लाह ताला करवाने वाला है हमारे जरिए, ना से किसी और के जरिए। वो काम लेना है तो इंसानों को सिर्फ जरिया बनाता है और उसका काम अंजाम देता है। तो none of us we are proud that we have contributed anything. We are only proud that we are part of this organization and we are among the alike people of this community, particularly Muslim community. एक ही इदारे में 1000 बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं अंडर वन इंस्टीट्यूशन, where they are having English education as well as Islamic education. It is in this time, at this time where the modernity, जो जितना मॉडर्न है उतना एडवांस अपने आप को समझते हैं, वैसे टाइम पे वी आर कनेक्टेड टू आवर रूट्स इस्लाम के, हम लोग हमारे रूट्स को कनेक्टेड हैं। दिस इज द बिगेस्ट थिंग दैट हैज। मैं आप सब लोगों के लिए मुबारकबाद देता हूँ कि आप यू आर इन द फर्स्ट ईयर और सेकेंड ईयर ऑफ एजुकेशन। आई इंटरेक्टेड विद योर प्रिंसिपल लास्ट टाइम, आपके लेक्चरर्स के साथ भी। यू हैव गॉट अ वेरी गुड टीम। आपके मार्क्स, जो भी बच्चों के मार्क्स आए हैं वो प्रूव करते हैं कि आप कितना मेहनती हैं और आपका स्टाफ जो है हाउ मच दे आर सपोर्टिंग यू, आपके टीचर्स कितना कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं आपके लिए बल्कि। इंशाल्लाह ऑल ऑफ यू विल सी यू इन इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस, मेडिसिन एंड गोइंग फॉरवर्ड यू विल बी। अगर जॉब करना है, हमारी कम्युनिटी में जॉब करने की जरूरत नहीं है। इट्स नॉट कंपल्सरी दैट वी शुड वर्क, बट इट इज कंपल्सरी दैट वी मेक आवरसेल्फ कैपेबल टू वर्क। जब जरूरत पड़े हमें काम करने की तो हमें काम करने के लायक होना चाहिए। What we are trying to do is we are trying to build that capability. Why education is required, why you need to study hard, why you need to join engineering colleges, why you need to join medicine. It is not about earning your livelihood. इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है कि आप खुद काम करें, खुद कमाएं। और ये है कि इन दिस डिफिकल्ट टाइम अगर कोई वक्त भी काम करे तो काम करने की ज़रूरत पड़े तो यू शुड बी कैपेबल टू वर्क। सो इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट टू डेवलप कैपेबिलिटी, स्किल डेवलपमेंट करना, कैपेबिलिटी डेवलप करना है, इसलिए एजुकेशन की ज़रूरत है। ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर यू, यू आर इनटू सेकेंड ईयर। जो भी बच्चा नीट के लिए प्रिपेयर हो रहे हैं, एमसेट के लिए प्रिपेयर हो रहे हैं, मैं उनके लिए एडवांस में मुबारकबाद देता हूँ। विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। इंशाल्लाह ऑल ऑफ यू विल गो फॉरवर्ड टू बिकमिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबल citizens of this country. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Sorry once again for keeping you sitting like this. इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट ऑडिटोरियम जब बन जाएगा, नहीं वैसे बात नहीं, जब भी मैं आता हूँ तो मुझे एक ही चीज़ तकलीफ देती है कि हम यहाँ बैठे हैं चेयरों पे, आप लोग नीचे बैठे हैं। वी आर सीइंग यू सिट देयर फॉर मोर देन एन आवर और सो। मे बी इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट टाइम ऑडिटोरियम बन जाएगा तो नीचे बैठने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी आप लोगों को। थैंक यू वेरी मच। जज़ाकल्लाह खैर।
जब मैं तारुफ किया तो मैं एक मेरे दोस्त का नाम लेना भूल गया, नासरुद्दीन, मेरे बिल्कुल करीब दोस्त और यहाँ हमारे मैनेजमेंट कमेटी के मेंबर थे, जिनका इंतकाल हुआ 3.5 years बैक। तो उन्हीं के, नासर साहब के साले हैं हमारे चारों अख्तर ब्रदर्स। उनका जिक्र भी मैं ज़रूर लूँगा यहाँ पे, क्योंकि मसूद साहब से मुझे तारुफ उन्हीं के ज़रिए से मिला। ही इंट्रोड्यूस्ड मसूद साहब टू मी एंड आई रिमेंबर हिम एंड आई प्रे टू गॉड टू ब्लेस हिम ए प्लेस इन जन्नतुल फिरदौस। और मैं आयशा बेटी का भी जिक्र करना चाहता हूँ कि वहाँ पे जो लड़की खड़ी है हमारी हाजिरा, शी इज़ डूइंग PhD एंड आयशा इज़ द मेंटर फॉर दिस गर्ल एंड शी इज़ सपोर्टिंग हाजिरा इन परसुइंग द PhD। और मैं अब शकील साहब से गुजारिश करता हूँ।
Assalamualaikum. So I know the reason why we are having this program is kind of my idea to like kind of give some kind of a career advice, whatever we have learned so far. So I'm going to start the program. So first I'll share my thoughts, how the job market is changing and all of those things. And then Ayesha, my wife, will talk about how her journey has been. So if you get some inspiration from her, that will be helpful. And she also will be able to talk about what are the strategies that you can adopt in future to be successful. Is that okay? Alright. Alright, so I know all of us, right? Most of us would have been asked this question. What do you want to become? Anyone raise your hands? Nobody asked you this question? Anyone who has asked you this question, what do you want to become? Please raise your hand. Let me ask differently then. Did anyone not ask you what you want to become in future? Right? That is the first thing that you ask a kid, right? What do you want to become? क्या बनना चाह रहे हैं आप? So, in this day and world, in this day, we are facing certain situations where you can become whatever you want. Okay? The old way was that the way was chosen for you. मेरा बेटा डॉक्टर बनेगा या इंजीनियर बनेगा, मेरी बेटी डॉक्टर बनेगी. So the moment somebody came out of the hospital, it was decided that this is the person, this is what they're going to become. Right? So that was the old way. So the old way was to start with picking your subject, whatever you want to learn, whether it's medicine or engineering or anything else. So that's the first step, right? And then the second step would be you study and study for years and years and years, and then you can graduate. For engineering it could be 4 years, for medicine it could be 10 years. So then again, you want to specialize. Right? You go in for specialization, you specialize and spend 2 more years, and then you start the first rupee coming into your pocket. Right? So you have spent all these years to get a job, and the job that pays for it. Right? But nowadays, what is happening is that this old way of doing things is now changing. Right? We can't operate with the same old way of doing things. The new way is that there is no longer a one career. Like if you join a company, if you join an institute, or if you start working, then you are not going to stay in the same job for the entire life. In my own personal case, I have changed careers like 5 times. And I have seen so many of my friends change their careers 5 times. So career is no longer a lifetime. It keeps changing. Nowadays they are saying it's an average, every 3 to 4 years you are going to change a career. Changing a career means what? Right? You are completely changing what you are doing before. Okay? It's not progression. Progression means you were an engineer before, now an engineering lead. You are a lead engineer. That's just progression. When you change from engineering, doing something totally different, then that is changing career. You understand what I'm saying, right? So changing career is common nowadays. But what about the future? Right? What about the future? In future, will there be a career? That's the main question right now, that most folks are trying to understand, that anybody who is going to graduate from +2, what kind of career they are going to have. Are there going to be careers or not? So 3 to 4 years of a career is not a career, right? So you are just staying in a job and then changing jobs. So it will happen more frequently now. You are going to change jobs more frequently. So when somebody asks you, what are you doing? Who are you? You cannot just say, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, because your identity is no longer going to be attached to your job. So what I'm saying, you will say, today, I am working as an engineer. Tomorrow it will be something else. So that's how quickly things are changing nowadays. So the new economy, the new digital skills that you have to build will help you get jobs far quicker. When I'm saying far quicker means like you don't have to put in years and years of study to see any money coming into your bank account. So anything like 6 weeks to 3 months should be enough to get a job. And that job will be there only for a couple of years maximum. Okay, that job completely vanishes. Let me give an example. In 2020, can you guess which job made the most money? What would you say? Like doctor, right? You would say doctor, right? So according to the US labor statistics, it was D5, E-former. I may have to write it down here to actually understand what it is. So you may not have heard of this particular job. D5, E-former. So it's something to do with blockchains and all of those things, right? So that was 2020. 2021 came. You may be thinking, what was the job that got the most money? The job that got the most money in 2021 was JPEG collectors. Okay? Somebody was collecting JPEGs from internet and then creating NFT card, and they made the most money in 2021. There is no course, there is no training available for anyone to make the most money. Just imagine somebody who was a doctor, right? That same year made less money than someone who just sat down, got on YouTube and learned some skills and was able to get more money than the doctor. Would the doctor be really mad? Right? Well, I mean, I spent so much time studying this, studying my subjects day and night, and this person spent a few hours per day, and then he made more money than me. And then 2022, right? This year, again, not a doctor, not a lawyer, not an engineer, it's a metaverse gamer. So on an average, the metaverse gamers are making more money than doctors and everything. And are they spending years and years learning? No, right? So they're only spending like probably 6 weeks or a month, 2 months, just getting passionate about this new technology and starting to learn, and then they are out there making a lot of money. So again, the purpose of doing anything, right? You are here studying. It's not to get a degree. I know that's what everybody says, but a degree is something that you use to get a job. What if you got a job without a degree? Right? What if you got a better paying job than a doctor who spends 10 years studying? So that is what I wanted to talk about with you today. Just kind of open your mind and make you realize that there are so many easy ways of learning new technologies and making a career. So this needs a little bit of mindset shift. So you need to have a mindset shift here. So mentally you should start thinking that, okay, the reason why I'm studying is not just to get a degree. The reason I'm studying is to get a job, in case if you want to do a job, right? And this program is for career counseling. So if you are interested in any career, then you have to know what is out there. Just imagine sitting at home, spending 3 hours a day. If you're able to make more money than a doctor, then you should go for it, right? Who wants to go for that type of, job? No? Not you? So everybody, yeah, raise your hand. Everybody wants to be a doctor and earn less money than somebody who is learning a new technology and making more money? No? No?
There you go.
Yeah, there is one person who's raising their hand, yeah.
Good job.
No? That's great, yeah. So I just wanted to open your mind to the possibilities. There are so many possibilities in the digital economy, that you should take advantage of. Okay? Forget the old way. The old way of doing things is getting difficult and difficult, and you may not be able to be as successful as you wanted to be. But the new way is out there. Nobody knows what exactly it is, but I want you to be curious. I wanted you to ask me questions, and I wanted you to open up your mind so that you can start thinking in the dance. Is that okay? Alright. So that's all I want to talk about. If there are any questions, then you can ask, or the mic can be passed over to you. If anyone is curious to know what digital skills you want to build and how you can go about that. Working from home and those things. Yeah, that's right. So now I will pass it on to Ayesha. So she will talk about her journey and how you can be successful in your career.
Assalamu alaikum. Oh wow, that's loud. Can you hear me okay? I want to hear wa alaikum assalam really loud. There you go, now you're up. It's a Monday, right? It's hard on Monday morning. So I'm really excited to be here to see all you pretty faces on a Monday morning. I really want to thank Sultan Uncle today for giving me this opportunity to come here and talk to you guys. I have not been to Karpa in 10 years, and when I was planning on coming over here, the first thing I wanted to see was family, and then wanted to come see you guys. Do you know my dad, Dr. Azmatullah Muhammad Sahab? Some of you may know, most of you may know. He is one of the founding members of this school, and he absolutely loves this school. He is very passionate about it, and all you girls. And I feel the same way. You all have a special place in my heart, and the school has a special place in my heart. So what I would like to just talk today is, what does it take for a girl to be successful? If I'm talking too fast, just let me know and I'll slow down. Am I talking okay? Is the pace okay? It's okay? You can understand me? Okay, that's perfect. All right. I want to just talk about, where I am and what I have done. I grew up here in Karpa, did my schooling and intern, and then I got married and moved to the US. Over there, I did my bachelor's and my MBA, and now I work as a cybersecurity senior manager at Dell Technologies. Thank you. So that's just a very short version of my journey. I'm actually going to give you a longer version in a minute here. So when my dad, Shakil, and Sultan Uncle told me that I'll get to speak to you girls about career, I'm absolutely thrilled. It's a topic that's close to my heart because I feel as girls, especially Muslim girls, we have to make sure that we have a representation, we have a career when we go out of this college, and we should be able to have jobs and be proud and make a name for ourselves. So this topic is really close to my heart. So I'm really excited to see you here today. Okay, all right. So just going back to my journey again, when I went to the US, I was married. I just finished my inter-college, and for me, there was really no reason to study any further because my husband had a great job. And when I got married, I was in planning, so I didn't know how to cook. And I was learning how to cook. So I was pretty busy, doing all those things. But, before I got married, when I talked to my husband, I said, I wish I had a degree before I got married. And Shaquille said, well, you can study after marriage. And he absolutely kept that promise. So when I got there, he said, you should actually go for your education. And I took that on, and I started going to school. It was a lot of hard work. I had to put in a lot of long nights studying and learning to cook at the same time, taking care of family. And after 4 years, I got my bachelor's in accounting and finance. Now, when actually I was doing that, I decided to start working. And I got a job at a huge medical healthcare company called Kaiser Permanente. And I was doing that, going to school, and then I got pregnant with my daughter. So I was doing 3 different things at the same time. It was absolutely hard to do that. Thank you. So when I got my degree, I was 5 months pregnant. My dad and my husband, Shaquille, were sitting in the audience clapping for me when I got my honors degree. And it was such a big achievement for me because there were a lot of times that I wanted to give up. I thought, why do I need to really spend all this time going through all this pain, studying all night, preparing for exams, when I really don't need a job? But I really stuck through because for me, in my mind, as a Muslim girl, education was extremely important. Growing up, my dad and my mom made sure I understood that every girl should be educated because when girls are educated, the future generations are educated. Girls are the future. So that stuck with me the whole time. And so whenever I wanted to quit, at some point, I would remember that I made a promise to myself that I would be a girl who had an education, a Muslim girl, and I did that. So that was my first time I got Taste of Success. And then I started working, spending a lot of time focusing on my job and taking care of the little baby. And I just decided that I wanted to do more. I was extremely driven, ambitious, and I wanted to go up in my career. I wanted a couple more promotions. I wanted to do better in my job. So I decided to take up MBA. So that was another 2 years of very hard schooling again to get my MBA in finance and accounting. So after that, I decided it's been 8 years that I spent in this nice, huge company as a medical underwriter, and I wanted to do something different. So I decided that I want to be in IT because there are not too many girls, especially not too many Muslim girls in IT. So I changed my career. I took on a new job, and I actually worked for many different companies, finance companies, healthcare companies, and now, finally, I moved to Dell Technologies recently. So that's my little bit of a story. I hope that helps you because, a lot of times you would want to give up when things get hard, but you have to make sure that you have a goal in life, you have a purpose in life. So what I want to do now, hopefully when my phone opens up, is kind of walk through a few things that I have learned so far in my career. It's been 15 years, mashallah, that I have been doing different types of jobs, and I have learned a lot of good things that I hope would be helpful for you. All right, so the first thing I would say, which is very important to succeed, is to dream big in life. Do you guys understand what that is? By dreaming big, I don't mean dream for a rich husband. All right? So that's a good thing. You can have a rich husband, but dreaming big means making a name for yourself, being independent, okay, having your own job. So after dreaming big, what I would say is to make that dream happen. For that, you would have to set goals. Goals are really important for anybody. You would want to know what is the aim, what is your target, where are you going? Otherwise, somebody else will tell you, Dr. Banjao, Engineer Banjao, that may not be something that you want to do. So it's really important that you pick what you want to do. So you have to set goals for yourself. Do you understand that? So the third thing that I want to say is really important is to read books. And by books, I don't mean the books that you get to study for college or school. This is something that I picked up from my husband. I always used to make fun of him that he reads a lot of books, but I picked up that habit from him, and it has changed my life. It is the best way for you to expand your brain, to really grow, and to learn a lot of different things. So I would say just read 10 pages, just 10 pages, not your school books, but pick up a book and read 10 to 12 pages every day if you can, because that's really going to help you understand many different things very, very quickly. And then, what's most important is to get a mentor. Do you know what a mentor is? Do you? No? It's kind of like someone, a coach that has been successful already and that can give you guidance and help. We talked about Hajira Sheikh here and me mentoring her. She's an extremely bright student, and when I talk to her, if she has any questions about her career or anything, we get to have a small chat, and I enjoy talking to her and she enjoys talking to me. So it's really important for any girl in their career to have mentors. So you see anybody, any other woman that's successful, or even another man that's very successful, you want to sit down and take some time and talk to them about, how did you get successful? What are the things that we need to learn? And maybe once a week, a couple times a month, you have to start meeting with them and get guidance from them. Do you understand that? So, besides having mentors, you'll be surprised about this rule for success. You actually have to eat right and work out. Now, if you ask me what does that have to do with success? Everything. Because if you don't eat right and work out, then your brain is not going to be as sharp. So it is actually the foundation for everything. So eat lots of good food and work out every day. Do you get that? Okay. All right. So next one is actually my favorite. That you probably wouldn't have heard, but would have heard from maybe older people, elders. I would say the most important thing for you to be successful is be nice to people. Because, you know, they have a saying, right? What you sow is what you reap, or what goes around comes around. Meaning, when you're nice to other people will also be nice to you. So you never know who you're gonna meet that's gonna help you along the way in your career. So always just be nice, don't fight with people, don't be mean to people. It's easy, right? Easy? Great. And the last and most important one is to believe in Allah and pray for what you want, the success that you want, because we all know everything comes from Him, and it's gonna work out. So if you want something really bad, you know you have to believe in Allah, and that's gonna happen for you, right? Okay. So I just want to wrap this up by saying you're all putting in this effort, you're here, you're getting educated. I know it's not easy. You're here because you're driven, you're ambitious, you're hardworking, you're disciplined and smart. And you have to put this good education to good use. So it's not that once you're done with college, you're done. That's not using all the hard work that you have put in here today, all these years of school that you have done. It's not gonna be major use to the community. You have to actually give back to other girls, to other people in the community. Do you understand that? So what I want to say here is there's so much talk of women empowerment, right? On TV, you watch all kinds of shows, they're talking about women empowerment and girl power today. But I truly believe that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was the true first feminist. He gave rights to women when they were not treated even as human beings, right? He gave them equality, rights to property. So he was really a true feminist at that time. So I want to tell you to use this opportunity today when there's so much talk about giving women the success, the platform, the opportunities, so you can go out there and be someone. I know it's not easy, but there's nothing you cannot do if you put your mind to it. So all I want to say is make sure you have a purpose in life. I truly believe it's noble to raise children and family, right? We see all our women, our moms, our sisters doing that, and it's truly noble. But I believe that there could be a doctor sitting here today who can cure cancer. There could be a girl sitting here who can build a rocket, right? There could be a girl somewhere who loves to be in NASA and find a planet with water. So never let your potential go to waste. So put this education to use. I repeat again, I feel like girls are the future. And you all already know that Hazrat Khadija Razila Anha, who was Prophet's first wife, was the biggest supporter that he had. And then we have Hazrat Aisha, his wife, beloved wife, that actually took his legacy forward, right? So we have such great examples as Muslim women, and we have to make sure that we're also standing up and doing something in life. I want to leave you here with one of my favorite quotes by Michelle Obama. success isn't about how much money you make. It is about the difference you make in people's lives. We're all waiting for women to be the leaders because as women, we have a gentler heart, we have more sympathy, we have more empathy. So we get to actually make this world better when we have more women leaders. And working outside. So working outside, what I've seen is there are not too many women out there in IT, and there are even less Muslim girls in IT. So I want each one of you to go home tonight, think about it, and figure out what is your goal that you want to work on. Are you willing to be that Muslim girl representing us girls and make a name for yourself and give back to society? Are you? Excellent. Excellent. So the last thing I would say is let's change this world, even if it's a little bit. Thank you. Thank you. Hiba. So this is my daughter, Hiba, and she wants to talk a little bit about a special class that she takes at her school, which I feel, would enjoy to get to know. Hi. Okay. So currently I'm in 11th grade and I go to school in the US. So it's a lot of fun. But I take a bunch of different classes, and they're mostly the same kind of classes, like science, history, English, all of that. But I take one very special class every single day in the morning for 45 minutes called Theory of Knowledge. And we usually just call it TOK for short. TOK has a lot of different things incorporated in it because there's a special program that's an international program called the IB program. TOK is a core class for it where it teaches students to think outside the box that typically standardized schools put us in. So TOK has, I'm going to be specifically talking about the TOK part rather than all of the extra stuff. But yeah, so Theory of Knowledge is a class where we typically have discussions about concepts of our world that we usually take for granted or as a truth, and we have discussions about them and try to think more analytically of them. I'll get into some examples later. So usually my teacher, Miss Feliciano, is always trying to get us to have conversations about it and trying to have discussions and debates, but it's 7 in the morning when we're taking the class, so none of us are interested. So we typically all just agree with each other, and we're all like, yeah, that's a good point. And we're all really just interested about sleeping or stressing about our next classes. I've been taking TOK for a semester now, so I've been taking it for 3 months? Yeah, 3 months. It's gotten to be one of my favorite classes, not just because sometimes I get to sleep in it, but because the course load is 1, easy, 2, I really do love my teacher, and 3, thinking critically about our world is so important to having a greater success and a greater understanding about the people around us. All of the greater figures of our world, all of the really people we look up to are people who have evolved the way they think into a broader view, and TOK is a very good way of trying to expand your horizon and trying to understand the world from a different perspective rather than the one that we currently have. Because a lot of people tell you things and tell you it's just the way that it is, just to understand that. But when you're in that class in TOK, it's not just what it's supposed to be. It's not just, this is a law that you have to understand. It's think critically about it. Think about it with a different view. Think about it with a lens that can help you challenge it. Like, it closed. So one of the lessons we were talking about was how language influences knowledge. And I'm sure a lot of you speak a bunch of different languages, and sadly I myself only speak English. So in that term, my knowledge and the way I can use my words to communicate my thoughts is very only limited to the English language. In a lot of different languages, there are words that can't be translated and have different meanings that can describe thoughts more in a detailed way, rather than just what we kind of say. And we were discussing about the Tower of Babel, which is it's a Christian thing, like a painting and a concept, where it says that language divides us because of how isolates and how if we don't speak the same language, how we typically stay not away, but don't really interact because we can't. And so we were having a lot of really good discussions about language influencing our knowledge, and how if we don't have the language, do we not have the the knowledge? Can we not think? Yeah, and we were also talking about truth and a justified truth, and what exactly is a justified truth? A justified truth is something that you can prove rather than something that you really just have to believe in. And we were talking about what exactly counts as proof. It's just a lot of fun having debates about all of these really interesting concepts that, again, typically you just believe in. You just accept and move on. The entire point of the class is to get students out of the confined thinking that typically school systems dictate on their students. Typically, a lot of school systems, I don't know if that's how it works here, have students think a certain way. There's only one way you can solve this math problem. There's only one way to see history. There's only one thing of anything. But TOK really tells you that there are hundreds of different ways to think about a certain concept, and none of them is really wrong. It's all perspective. It's a global problem where future generations have seen the way the world works, been given certain truths, and just stuck with it without questioning it. However, when we begin to think critically, more deeply about our world functions and realize much of the problems, and through recognizing these problems are able to create solutions. We, as a future generation, I believe a lot of you are 11th and 10th graders. I think. I don't know. That's what my mother told me. So we're all the future generation. We're all going into this weird, wacky world where we have to think very critically, very interesting, very analytically of what other people say, and form our own opinions rather than just accepting what everyone else tells us. Right, okay. So the reason I'm talking about TOK is because my Nanu, he was very interested. You know how like every auntie and uncle ask you, what classes are you taking? Every single time. So he's taking a special interest in TOK, and he was thinking about implementing it. And I was really like excited about that idea, and hopefully I can talk with my TOK teacher, and hopefully we can get that implemented. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up now. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sufia Muskan, and sir and ma'am, today we all are very happy to see you all of us here, and we would like to thank you all people for giving your suggestion to us. Ma'am, I have one small questions to you to ask you. That you have said that you have to face a lot of problem in your journey, and I would like to know that what motivates you to continue your journey. Don't you ever got any doubt that you can do it or not? How did you keep yourself motivated during your hard times? That I want to know, ma'am. So
That's an amazing question. I'm sorry, what was your name, hon?
Sufia Muskan.
Sophia Muskan. Just give a big hand for her. So we all do face different challenges, and things kind of get difficult. You know, you have life, you have parents telling you to do something, and you have family pressure and all of that. But as long as you have a goal in mind and you see yourself, if you want to be a doctor, say, and you see yourself as a doctor, or you see yourself as an engineer, you see yourself working as a VP of a company, that really motivates you to get there. So that day when it's going really bad and you see yourself as a VP leading a huge company, that does motivate. And I also make sure that I have role models in life, right? So I have other women that I look up to that are successful, that are doing something for the community, that are giving back. I would like to be one of those women. And that motivates me every day when I feel on a Monday morning, I don't want to wake up, go to work. That day, I think of women that are giving back and doing something, and that helps me get out of bed and do something in my life. Does that answer your question, hon?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable question. After listening to your words, I felt that you are a very brave woman, and we wish we would also become like you. Thank you.
Can I ask Hajira to come and speak about her mentor?
First of all, I like to give her a hug. I haven't given her a hug.
Assalamu alaikum. Respected distinguished dignitaries over the dais and students. Actually, I was also there sitting when I was studying my 10th standard, and I make a promise to myself that I will give back what I have taken from this institution. And I will once, even for a single day, I may able to serve this institution. And that came true. I have worked here for 1 year. It was just, wonderful days of my life. And talking about my mentor, Ayesha ma'am, so when I was pursuing my master's, there was a small tragedy which was happened in my life. I lost my father, and who was a great inspiration to me. He never told us, we four sisters, that you have to become this, you have to become that. Just pursue your studies. You know, he indirectly motivated or molded us in a way that you have to become teachers, you have to become lecturers or professors. You know, not directly, but indirectly. He just motivated us, see that kind of lecturers or teachers. But suddenly, he just vanished in our life, from our life. So it disheartened us in such a way that I was pursuing hard. I have never let a single day of my life to just waste it, single second, even a single second. From 8th standard onwards, I started waking up at 3:30 a.m. I started, after finishing all those works, having a cup of coffee, I used to sit for studies from 4 o'clock, and it went up like this up to +2. After completion of my intermediate in MPC, there I got motivated by my lecturer, Miss Indra Madam. She motivated a lot about physics. Physics was just, I just don't know how I got in that much love with that subject. And then I started pursuing towards physics only. After completion of my bachelor's, and then I have gave my master's entrance. I got qualified in that one also, and then I started my master's. It was just going fabulous. You are pursuing towards your goal, and it is day by day, you are having success in it. It was really like, a dream will come truly soon, and it will happen to you. And then suddenly this tragedy was happened. I was a little bit broken, and suddenly Chilan sir has told me that there is some classes which was held by Shakil sir. There was some quizzes, some competitions. You two were also there, I think. You two were, having the classes. I think your seniors and your super seniors. And I was also joined in that one. I got, in one of that quiz, I got first, and I got a chance to meet Ayesha madam, not directly, but virtually it happened. And yes, there was a nice talk. It was very nice talk with her. And suddenly I asked her that emotionally, how can you keep yourself motivated? Or, it was very good in my studies. But there was something which was lacking behind, and I was, day by day, I was cutting off my ties with my family. I started to sit alone. I secluded myself. And then when we have a talk, she motivated me that, this was happened in your life. It doesn't mean that it stopped your life. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you are not going to pursue your higher studies without your father. You have to reach that goal, what he has meant for you, what he thought for you to see you. There is a poem in Urdu about father, which whenever I was angry towards him, I used to remember, Aziz dar तुझे रखते हैं वो रगे जान से, अजीज dar मुझे रखते हैं वो रगे जान से. ये बात सच है कि मेरे बाप पर नहीं है. वो माँ के कहने पर कुछ रोग मुझ पे रखता है, वो माँ के कहने पर कुछ रोग मुझ पे रखता है. यही वजह है मुझे चूमते हुए झिझकता है. वो आशना मेरे हर तरफ से रहे हर दम, जो खुल के रो नहीं पाता मगर से सकता है. जुड़ी है हर एक आफत उसकी मेरी यहाँ से. ये बात सच है मेरा बाप कम नहीं है. And I don't want to go brief. Last stanza is there. वो मुझको सोते हुए देखता है जी भर के, न जाने देख कर क्या क्या वो सोच कर क्या क्या वो मुझको मुस्कुराता है. तेरे बगैर है सब ख्वाब मेरे वीरां से. ये बात सच है मेरा बाप कम नहीं है माँ से. So whenever I used to thought about him, I remember this poem. He was a really stubborn person. It was because he was having a little bit disease which was called demyelinization, and this disease is typically very hard to be cured. There was no cure for it, and I was very strict with him. Not making him to eat sweets, to eat all of those things. And suddenly, all these things what happened, he was not there, and I don't know what happened. And then Madam told me that you have to get motivated. He is watching you. He is always there with you. He will always support you. And you have to pursue your higher studies. And these words, I don't know, they have done a magic in my life. And whenever I was pursuing, when I was having any difficulties, in my masters, I have all those thoughts of her, how she have told me that you have to pursue it. You can make it. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, though whoever came and push you, you can't make it. You can't make it happen. So I was always making it hard for me until to reach here. When I was giving my entrance to PhD, most of my teachers and lecturers, they have told me that it's truly hard. You can't make it. You can't make it at once. But there are many of them who have made it at once also. That's why I wanted to give it a try. And I have think both positively and negatively. If I achieved it, then it is very good for me. If I can't, then I get another opportunity that I have to write it for another time and I can achieve it. For the first entrance which I have wrote, it was not good. I was not qualified in it. It was AP-set examination. And then I went to R-set, research set. There are so many examinations for PhD, and then I did that entrance in which I, alhamdulillah, got qualified, and then there was an interview. And in that interview panel, there were almost 7 or 8 members who were handling that interview, and all of them were professors, and I have made a small journal which I have to proceed in that proceedings. And when I was entering into that interview room or the cabin where it was situated, when I was entering there, I just told myself only one thing, that this is the step which I have to make my dream come true. If I can't answer to those questions which they impose, then all that effort which I have done before was just wasted. Waking up at 3:30, having that much struggle, everything will just vanish. So I have to give my best. And all those words of Madam that you can make it. He is with you. Because I can't tell all these miseries with my sisters or with my mother, because they too got depressed. How can I share with all these things? That's why in our life, I think a mentor is necessary. A person with whom you can talk freely, with whom you can express your feelings, your misery, your doubts, or if you have a passionate to become anything, that means you want to become a doctor or an engineer, civil engineer. There is a feeling inside you, but you can't express it. At that time, you have to go to some person who will patiently listens to you, who will patiently, directly or indirectly motivates you towards your goal, towards your achievement, to what you want to be. Understand? That's why, and that mentor should not necessarily be your teacher or to be some other persons. They can be your parents. They can be your cousins. They can be some, friends also. Understand? You don't need to have to find some mentors, but you can have them. but sometimes we think if we say these things, we can make ourselves, a little bit disappointed, or हम जो कर रहे हैं शायद उनको पसंद ना आए या फिर हमारी बातें उन्हें मजाक देंगे. But no, don't feel like that. If there is something which is, which is hanging you behind, which is just pulling you back from your goal, you just have to go to some person with whom you can express it, with whom you can make that one happen. Understand? With whom if you talk with them, then it gives you a relief and you can pursue towards it.
I've not seen a stronger girl than Hajira, so give a big round of applause for her. It's really hard sharing an emotional story like she just did and talking about role models. If she's not one, I don't know which girl can be a role model for you girls standing right here. Having the most difficult thing. I was fortunate enough, we're 4 sisters. We have our dad that supported us every step of the way. I have a lot of men, my husband, and my brothers, and my in-laws that are supportive. But Hajira, what she has gone through and the strength it takes for a woman to overcome a loss of a father and be that strength for the other sisters and her mom, I just can't imagine. I mean, she's an inspiration for me. I hope you girls definitely take her up as your mentor and be inspired by her story, because it's amazing. It is. Thank you.
I request now Naeem bhai to speak a few words. क्योंकि हमारे पास 30 कंप्यूटर्स आए हैं, मतलब थोड़े आए हैं और थोड़े आने वाले हैं जो बेहतरीन कॉन्फ़िगरेशन के हैं और मल्टीमीडिया जैसे चीज़ें भी हम सीख सकते हैं, तो इसके बारे में थोड़ा हमको ब्रीफ करेंगे. अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन.
Well, I do 3D animations. I have a company called Pixloid which does 3D animations. So आप लोग सारे घर पे कार्टून्स देख रहे होंगे, 3D animations देख रहे होंगे. मेरी कंपनी वो बनाती है, हम लोग डिज्नी के लिए, वार्नर ब्रदर्स के लिए सब एनिमेशंस करते हैं. So और इसके साथ ही I'm not talking in English because I feel you'll be more connected to the way I speak with you in our Kalpa accent. So I wanted to get connected with you. So basically, getting back to what I do is we do all this 3D animations, and also I have a training institute. I train about 400 students a year. So who learn to do animations and go back and work in different international companies. So now I have brought few of the machines here in this school. So I wish that you kids start learning how these animations are done, start doing small steps. So in the future, apart from IT, there is also this field of media and entertainment, which is very interesting, which is more art related. And in art, girls are the best. Girls are more creative than the boys. So I look forward some of you picking up from there. So these days there is media and entertainment everywhere. If you have seen Byju's, you might have heard about Byju's and have seen it is edutainment there in Byju's. So they are using all 3D animated topics, like if we have to tell anything about gravity or anything about Newton's laws and stuff like that. They're all shown in pictures and animation, and because like picture speaks 1,000 words. So it is easier for any student to grasp that. So there is a lot of demand these days in this media and entertainment and also entertainment. So I look forward for those kids who are interested in those things to catch up the courses. We are planning some courses, small steps for you to go ahead. And also presentations are very important for every one of us in our career. So when you learn this kind of a tools, it becomes very easy for you to present what you want to show or tell. So you may have projects, you can start doing projects in slides and stuff like that, and put together images, edit images and all those things. That makes you stand out from regular projects. So if there is anything you need, any material you need, any advanced courses you please reach out to Sultan Bhai, and I'll make sure that you get all those things. And and also please look into YouTube for training videos. Don't watch YouTube for stuff like Reels and TikToks and those things, please. I think every one of you have mobile phones back at home. I would wish you start looking into following some tutors on YouTube and use this modern way of learning. In cities, every student is using this modern technology to learn. I think even if you don't have it at school, you should go back home and use those devices for your best use. I hope to look forward you to be working in those companies shortly. Come to cities like big cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, and start working there. And as my bhabhi has said, dream. So keep dreaming, and you'll definitely achieve it. You all should have a dream, and you should always think something big and try to pursue it and achieve it. All the best for you kids, and thanks to your management that they have built such a great facility and doing great for our community. Thanks.
शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं हम नईम साहब का कि एक बेहतरीन जो एनिमेशन सीख सकते हैं वो फैसिलिटी हमारे पास आने वाली है। तो इसके साथ साथ मैं और भी एक चीज़ बताना चाहता हूँ कि हमारे पास जो कंप्यूटर लैब्स हैं, 62 कंप्यूटर्स जो डोनेट करे हैं, उनके पास से इनामदार साहब के पास से उनके पास से मुझे फ़ोन आया था रिसेंटली। ही आस्क्ड मी टू सेंड आवर टीचर्स। 3 साल पहले जब वो कंप्यूटर्स दिए थे तो उसके पहले उनका एक कंडीशन था कि हमारे टीचर्स को 1 वीक 10 डेज के लिए उनके पास भेजें ताकि वो ट्रेन कर सकें किस तरह वो कंप्यूटर्स को ऑपरेट कर सकते हैं। तो हम वो एक टीम, मैं भी गया था उस टीम के साथ, एक 8-9 टीचर्स जाके सीख के आए थे। तो फिर उनका 1 वीक पहले फ़ोन आया। उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे पास बहुत नई चीज़ें आए हैं, हमारे 8, 9, 10 साल के बच्चियाँ ड्रोन बना रहे हैं और उड़ा भी रहे हैं, और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के क्लासेस हम ले रहे हैं और साइबर सिक्योरिटी के क्लासेस भी हम ट्रेन कर रहे हैं। तो आपके फैकल्टी को भेजिए बोल के। तो नाजनीन और हमारे समीना और 2-4 टीचर्स फिर जाने वाले हैं पुणे को। तो इस तरह मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ ही हमको आगे बढ़ना होगा। हम इस मौके पे नईम साहब का भी शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं कि एक बेहतरीन हमको कंप्यूटर्स को उन्होंने प्रोवाइड किया। तो प्रोग्राम एंड करने के पहले मैं चाहूँगा हमारे प्रेसिडेंट साहब और सेक्रेटरी साहब भी 2 मिनट बात करें और इस आज के प्रोग्राम के लिए उनके तासुरात भी पेश करें।
Assalamu alaikum. I think most of you heard with the great attention the speeches of our district speakers. One thing that strikes me today is the 2 speakers who have spoken today, they have passed through so many tribulations and sufferings to reach their sins.
particularly I am impressed by the speech of this girl, Rajana. No? You must learn something from her speech, first of all. The sufferings she has undergone, the way she has fought for life, and the way she is trying to go through life and help the